live.
Hey everybody, it's Hank B. This is Josh T.
T.
And we are
Our
R2
Cents
Cents
Media.
Media. We're going to get the timing a little bit better. We're trying to connect through a new... why, was it good that time? We're trying to connect through a new format so that we can try to get reviews out faster. And, you know, he's sitting there doing the Baby Bird impersonation while we're trying to talk about Mandalorian. So, yeah, so forgive us as we try to work this out. We're going to get better backdrops, better things, but we want to work the kinks out as we're doing this and get some content out to you in a quicker manner, especially with the episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
So
lately we haven't been able to get together due to gas, sicknesses, all that stuff.
Yeah, I got sick like twice, and also with these snowstorms hitting all across the U.S., like in our area, like there's parts of the area that have gotten like 27 feet of snow and more, and we got another storm coming in. So it's just like it's there's no reason to be on the road. There's no reason to be on the road. So we're gonna try this format. So not that we haven't been working on some stuff, but you know life does go on. We got to deal with real world stuff, but let's get into non-real world stuff. Talking about Mandalorian season 3. We originally did an episode 1, but due to audio problems, we are now doing an episode 1 and 2, doing them together. But we are stepping forward, going to do each episode as they come out. So we're gonna talk about this in. We're gonna break it down, talk about episode 1, then we're gonna talk about episode 2. So starting with episode 1, what'd you think of it?
Overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode. I was kind of discouraged looking at the time frame that it was running at. What was 37 minutes? So give or take some intro and some outro and all that stuff, probably around 30 minutes of the whole first episode. I was kind of bummed about that fact.
I was, I'll be honest, I was a little confused going into it. I am one of those people that did not watch Book of Fett yet. I planned on watching it, but as we kind of said, real world stuff. I kind of stopped watching TV in general because I got tired of all the negativity. Even at the announcement of a show, there's nothing but negativity, and it's just like, it's not fun. So I kind of took a break from watching TV, so I was behind on Book of Fett. So I've since been told that if you watch Book of Fett, you would understand kind of what was happening, and I came into it not watching it, so I was like, what's going on here? What? Which can be a little disconcerting, because if a person only watches Mandalorian and doesn't watch Book of Fett, they could feel lost.
Definitely lose people, because he gets a whole new ship. There's some story behind the training and Grogu and him training with the lightsaber, the dark saber, and so I mean, there's a lot to miss, and I believe it should have been separate from Book of Boba, but it is what it is. So
basically, I mean, because Book of Boba was never advertised as being a Mandalorian show. It was about Boba Fett and them, and then I'm finding out that it was basically freaking Mandalorian season 2.5, which is a little frustrating. But anyways, first episode was, not counting that stuff, it wasn't a bad episode. It's just, again, for someone who didn't watch the book, it was a little confusing. Yeah, but I agree, it also did feel short.
I mean, the lack of time, and then going into how it started, I liked how it started. I mean, it was kind of questioning at first. I thought that whole armor forging and the making of the armor of the little helmet for the little Mandalorian was going to be for a little Gingerin, and I thought that was being him anointed into the Mando hood, and I'm surprised, he ends up popping up in his ship after the whole crocodile tortoise battle, which I think took longer than it should, and they should have been a little bit more well armed for. But I mean, it was a pretty good scene overall, the way it started. How do you think it started? What was your thoughts?
I'm kind of with you on that. I thought it was a flashback. I thought we were going to see like little Jin do like a badass thing when he went to rescue the guy, maybe pull a grenade off and like chuck it down the mouth, and like it was going to blow up from the inside. Maybe you get those sideways looks of everybody like, oh shit, this kid's going to be something. And it just turns out it's not a flashback, it's a new recruit, which does beg the question of, and it gets into the whole talk of, if they can only anoint themselves with this one water, how are they anointing the new people in this generic alligator water? I don't know. But anyway, I just something that was kind of popped
when
up.
the alligator tortoise popped up.
Yeah, I mean they should have known. They're in his backyard. You know, it wasn't bad. I mean, overall, the episode had, you know, story, action, story, action, story, action.
Yeah.
You know. One thing I wasn't happy with, and I'll ask your opinion on this, I also wasn't happy with their portrayal of the pirate captain. I felt he was too generic. I was like, just because he's a pirate doesn't mean he has to have a big beard, and he's got to look all scruffy, and he's got to look like the futuristic version of the freaking pirate captain from damn
To the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, it's like, let's be original. Let's do something different. He could have been something different. Instead, you made Seaweed Captain. I mean,
Make
it's
it
just
half
kind
man,
of
half woman or something.
make it a woman captain in general. Make it a woman of a different species. Hell, you could have done a lot with that. Let's make a woman Hondo. Hell, I almost expected it to be Hondo, although Hondo should be dead at this point. But yeah, no, there's a lot they could have did with it, and I was just like, you went with generic. And I didn't like that. What did you think of the captain?
That scene did remind me of Pirates of the Caribbean as well, Mr. Squidward. But I just thought it was funny when, you know, he's like, "Oh, I got you trapped. What are you gonna do now, boy?" And he's like, "Yeah, catch me." And he just speeds past him, and, you know, it's just like, "Oh."
Yeah.
And
that's
that
pretty
was about
good
it.
portrayal of...
That's the whole scene is, you know.
Yeah. I'm sure the pirate captain's going to come back anyways.
Mossy Squidward pirate captain and
Captain Moss. Yeah. He's officially known as Captain Moss from now on. But yeah, so overall with episode 1 of season 3, The Apostate, how did you feel about it, and what is your Sentometer rating on it?
I thought it was a good episode. It did have a lot of good special effects, good scenes, good story that intertwined with season 2 to the Book of Boba, which it shouldn't have been the Book of Boba, but it was the Book of Boba, into season 3, episode 1. And then the pirate fight was really cool with him. I forget the leader of that city.
Apollo Creed.
What was his name? Yeah, Apollo Creed. And that little altercation with the pirates there, and this is a school. No, it's a bar. I'm gonna drink here. Let's have some drinks. And it's like, no, it's a school. But like that whole altercation was pretty cool. Like the fights in space when he's zipping him out of the asteroids was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Overall, I just felt it was pretty cool. I mean, it was kind of cute, that one scene where the little Grogu goes from his back seat into the front seat and underneath his arms as they're traveling through hyperspace. It's like, oh, how cute. But
I did like that he had his own pod up top there that he could sit and look through. Thought that was kind of good.
What, do you remember that old cartoon where he's like, "Oh, isn't that cute? But it's wrong."
No, I don't. No, so, what's your Sentometer?
Sentometer. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there.
Yes, you did.
Sentometer. I'm going to give it about an 8. 8 cents. 8 cents out of 10. Out of dime. Okay. 8 cents.
Pretty solid. I personally, I was confused by the episode. I didn't realize I had to watch Book of Boba to keep up. I mean, I figured each one's kind of like their own show, and it wasn't the case. Trying to figure out everything going on, I actually stopped and went back to season 2 to make sure I hadn't missed any episodes, which I knew I hadn't, but I was that confused. but the action was good, and it kept going. It kept having like story action, story action, story action, which was nice. So, but I'm going to give it a 6 at this point. 6 cents out of a dime. That might go up. Now that I realize I got to go back and watch Book of Bubba. So
once you watch Book of Bubba, hopefully you'll get it up to at least a 7.
Yeah,
and that's not what she said.
It probably will. So that's how we feel about episode 1. We'd love to hear how you feel about it. I mean, feel free to give us your 2 cents. But we're going to get into episode 2 real quick before we cut this short. So, episode 2.
Drink?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No. Mines of Moria, or whatever it was called. Yes, I knew I was going to make a bad joke about the Mines of Moria, but it's the Mines of something. I actually just got done watching that episode. How did you feel about that episode?
It was cool that he was going back to his home planet. Well, not his home planet, but the home planet of the origination of Mandalorian itself. I mean, the first episode he's going through all these ins and outs just to get this one droid fixed, and then the lady's like, "Oh, here, just take this droid." Okay.
He always falls for her shit.
Yeah, the droid does do its job, and he almost gets jumped for it. But I just, he's like, okay, go in this cave.
Yeah,
go in this cave.
He's a pushover when it comes to that lady. Sorry.
Go in this cave, get a reading, and then let me know. And then they go in the cave, and then they come back to the cave. They're outside of the ship, and then he's like, okay, get a reading, and then he reads it outside, and it's like, okay, it's breathable. And it's like, why didn't you just read it from the outside anyways? Fucking droid.
I'm kind of with you on it.
And then, I mean, I felt like there was some plotty holes. I'm not sure, because when the giant crab got him from underneath the ground, what is it? The giant crab got him from underneath the ground. Sorry, daughter's crying. Giant crab got him from underneath the ground and then injected him with his sleepy pincer thing. Kind of reminded me of Lord of the Rings in a way. And, oh, I cannot hear you. Oh, okay, I can kind of hear you now.
Okay.
There we go. It reminded me of Lord of the Rings in a way when, the stinger kind of makes Frodo go to sleepy sleep. The creature was pretty interesting. I like that, the creature that captured Mando down in the depths of Mando mines. the mines. Like how he can go into different stages, transferring his body and stuff. It was cool that Grogu was going back to get what's her name, Bo-Katan, and I'm surprised that thing kept Mando alive that whole time.
Yeah, I'm like, how much time? Like, what happened?
So on his way up, he gets into that little altercation with the Green Goblin, and then the Green Goblin orc thingy. I forgot what she calls them, andesite beasts or something.
Right.
And then he uses his little force thing and blasts them through. It's like, why didn't you use it on that thing down there and rip it to pieces? Like, what are you doing, little baby Grogu?
Well, it did show that he had a hard time with the metal, so it might be something to do with the weight distribution, and that may have been too heavy for him to be able to rip apart.
Yeah, but in the first season, he lifted a giant rhino that was probably about 50 times heavier than that thing.
But organic. Maybe he has a thing about I'm spitballing here, I don't know. But if you notice the differences, the things that he can really affect are organic items, and maybe he has a hard time with metal. Maybe that's the kryptonite. Maybe he's like Superman, can't see through lead. Maybe Grogu's like, I can't bend the metal. Which doesn't make sense, but
whatever. And then he gets it back into the ship, the speeder ship. He jumps out of his little pod into the ship and takes off. I did not see that little pod suck up into the ship. I'm not sure if you did.
No, I didn't
But
either. I was wondering about that.
when little baby Grogu comes back with Bo-Katan, he's floating out of the back of it with it, and it's just like
Maybe it connects underneath. I don't know. Maybe it connects underneath, like a fuel pod on a jet or something like that.
I mean, that's what my
I
thought
mean,
was too. But he
yeah.
took off so fast when he got into the cockpit.
Yeah.
He did like a cool little baby front flip, got into the cockpit, and then used the Force to control
Yeah.
this non-organic ship.
He didn't use the Force to control the ship. He turned it on. He told the astromech droid to do it. Because he pointed at it, he's like, hey, take me here. He's like, I gotta go here, and the droid's like, okay. So yeah, it was the droid that controlled the ship.
Yeah,
so, getting into it, like, the episode itself, I felt was a little like, man, Mando cannot fight anymore. He could shoot, but he can't fight for shit. Almost gets his ass kicked by 3 prehistoric monkeys. He gets captured by a freaking metal crab. He's got like no awareness at all of like his surroundings. He's like, oh, cool, a helmet. I'm trapped. Yeah, you got Bo-Katan. It's like, hey, that's a trap right there with some monkeys. Like it's like he's gotten worse since like the first season. Yeah, it's something's weird about it. I don't know what it is. It's just like seems weird. And then even then, falling into the water the way he did, it's like he's turned into the biggest klutz in the galaxy. It feels like.
I thought he got sucked underneath by like a beast or something, and then just seeing that he just fell off that shelf.
Well, like, see, that's really? The question. Did he fall? Was it the beast? Is it still the effects of the freaking drug that the freaking Krusty Krab hit him with? Like, you're not quite sure because he went down. I mean, she jumped in right afterwards, and yet he was already at the bottom. It was like, how? Okay, and yeah, you do see a beast in the water, and I'm sure we're going to see more of that in episode 3. But it's just like, I almost want them just to get rid of the Mandalorian. Just take the Mandalorian, get rid of him and Grogu. Let's get some other character in there at this point because it's like you guys are like making him not be cool anymore. He's not the badass anymore.
Yeah. Bo-Katan's taking the bad. I mean, did you see the way she handled that Darksaber? I was like, yeah, that's the way you handle that.
She knows how to use it. He looked like he couldn't even pick it up.
Yeah. He's flailing it around like a 2-year-old trying to swing a 15-pound axe.
Yeah. Well, so obviously I got some issues with the episode, but overall, I thought it was pretty good. I want to see more of it coming forward. I've seen some. There's other videos out there where somebody's like, "Oh, this changes all the history of everything." It's like, well, okay, whatever. That they bought the rights to it, so they can do it. Another funny thing is I did see a meme talking about this whole quest of him getting holy water, where they're like, yeah, you've got to do this, and he's like, well, I'm going to go hang out with Boba Fett, and Boba Fett's like, you have the Darksaber, just tell him what to do. Which technically is right, but that's besides the point. I just thought it was funny. It's like, he's got the Darksaber. Technically, he can go like, yeah, I don't need the water. And just hold the freaking saber and go, no, I don't need the water. And they'd have to go, okay, you got the Darksaber, you don't need the water. Yeah. I mean, but this one I would say is better than the first episode. I'll give it a 7 on the Centometer. Still, it's not a 9 or a 10. It's not 9 cents or 10 cents, but that's because some of it's just like, little pinprick holes that we're poking into it. It's definitely going to be one of the whole is worth more than the sum of the parts type thing. What do you feel about episode 2 in a recap? Or in your scent gauge and how you feel about it?
I'm gonna give it a 6 on this one. Like, I didn't like you were saying, the sissy factor of the Mando. I felt, as that thing trapped him, he could have responded a little quicker or, done something instead of just stand there and go, oh, I'm captured. Yeah. I felt Grogu could have helped, like, use the Force some way, and like instead of going, go get Bo-Katan and leave me here for 12, 24, 36, 82 hours, because it's not like he made it over there in 5 minutes. And I think the creature that captured him took way too long to do whatever he was going to do to him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he
Yeah, he was taking the blood out of him.
He was taking the blood out of him for like 12 seconds, and it completely disoriented him. It's like,
Yeah.
that's
I
a
mean, the
fast pumping needle.
whole time he was in the cage, he's just like,
Yeah.
like it's crushing. It's like, dude, you're in a cage. You're not even fighting back. Grogu could have grabbed him when he got out of the crab shell when he was little. I mean, and flung him or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot that could have been done, probably better.
And yeah, so I didn't like the fact that he can smash people outside, or those little green goblin ogre people outside, but didn't want to smash a little creature inside of a little.
Yeah.
And then the time frame getting Bo-Katan and then going back, and it was just like I think he would have been a goner by then. It's like this creature like sat there and stared at him for 8 hours.
2 hours.
Like, okay, you know what?
Yep.
I'm hungry. I'm gonna drink your blood finally.
Exactly.
Instead of getting right to business, and yeah. So
it was a classic villain move.
Felt off, and then like seeing like I totally thought Mando got sucked under by a beast, but no, he tripped and fell, and she had to like. Did you see how deep she had to go for him? She like made left turns, right turns, ups and downs, and then saw him at the bottom. And then as on her way up, that's when the beast woke up. So it's like I don't think the beast sucked him underneath, because that's when she got its attention and opened its eyes.
Who knows? We'll find out episode 3 probably.
Six. I mean, the special effects is good. The story could have been better in the way it laid out, but that's what bugged me about it. So 6. I think that's high.
But that's our 2 cents. We'd love to hear your 2 cents, and also we'd like to hear your 2 cents on how we are doing this. Will you stop looking at me? But yeah, let us know how you feel about it, and feel free to leave comments. He's a peeper. What can you expect? So yeah. So you guys have a good night, and hopefully this format works for you going forward.
Stop moving. You gotta be frozen.
Falling for it again. No, I'm not falling for it again, Josh.